Help support AMTV by becoming a patron, an AMTV staff member, and following us over on Twitter.
OK, let's get back to the hotel inspector in Cornwall. And a reminder, tempers are flaring and there is some mildly offensive language. Little ears, you have been warned.
Hi there guys, it's Martyn here, and welcome back to another video. Apologies for this slightly echoey audio today. As I've mentioned, I'm recently moving house. I haven't got my setup all done just as of yet, so echoey audio might be a thing we have to deal with for now, so I do apologise, but we're going to get into it today. We're going to be talking about Channel 5 and specifically their big relaunch and rebrand. Now, you might remember all the way back in August of last year, this was first touted. There was going to be this major upheaval for Channel 5, arguably its biggest in its more than 25-year history, and we have a few more details now. We know that this relaunch slash rebrand is confirmed for March of this year. That's March of 2025. It doesn't specify when, but we've got an article here from RXTV. As always, go and check them out. They do great broadcasting articles every single day. So we're going to have a look and see what new information we have. Paramount, who of course is the company behind Channel 5 and My5 here in the UK, has confirmed it will be relaunching its UK free-to-view streaming and linear channels in March. As first reported last August, Channel 5 and My5 will be broadcast under the common brand of simply 5, mirroring Channel 4's recent move to combine traditional broadcast channels and streaming offer under one brand. Yes, Channel 4 has operated under this for a while now, hasn't it, where everything is just Channel 4, which is either confusing or genius, depends on which side of the spectrum you lean on, I think, for that one. Channel 5 is arguably doing a similar thing here by making everything as 5, just the number 5, by the way, not even Channel 5, just 5. And I think here in the UK, where it's primarily based, that having had time to think on it, I don't think that's necessarily like a majorly bad thing. Do you know what I mean? Because a lot of people I know simply refer to it as 5. They don't even say Channel 5. They just say, oh, I'm watching this on 5. And it's what I've been doing with it for a while as well. So I can sort of see this move. Paramount had originally planned to revamp Channel 5's streaming offshoot last year by merging it with Pluto TV. The plan was abandoned in favour of creating this 5 brand. So they clearly think this unifying everything under one brand is the way to go, similar to how Channel 4's done it. The impeding relaunch follows a successful end to 2024 for My5. The service enjoyed its best ever Christmas Day and Boxing Day. All Creatures Great and Small was the top performing show over the 2 days. Over the full festive fortnight, so from the 23rd of December to the 5th of Jan, new Channel 5 drama, The Serial Killer's Wife, was the top performing show, whilst other top performers include acquired drama such as The Following and perennial festive highlight World's Strongest Man. Interesting, isn't it? Nice that a new Channel 5 drama, like one that isn't simply acquired or imported in, has been doing quite well. And I mean, I guess it makes sense for them to go for this whole serial killer, you know, murder mystery sort of thing, because that genre is insatiably popular. You get these prop up all the time on the BBC, ITV, all those broadcasters. So nice to see, though, a drama that Channel 5 have put on is doing really well. And All Creatures Great and Small. Whoever thought that revival was going to do... I remember when they announced that and people were like, this is going to flop. You know, it's not the 1970s or 80s anymore. But it seems to have its own loyal following and it's been doing really well. So props to them for remaking that show successfully. My5 as a streaming service, I've not really used that much in the past few years. I've never really had a need to. I admittedly don't watch much Channel 5 programming. And the reviews I get from other people on My5 is mixed. Some people say the service works exactly as it should. And then some say it's really, you know, bad, even worse than ITVX or some of the other competitors out there. So I'd be curious to let me know your thoughts on My5. What are your experiences of My5? Let me know in the comments down below. As to what will be different from March when this rebrand kicks in, it says as part of the relaunch as 5, Paramount says the streaming service will be boosted with an expanded content offer. That means the streamer will add additional box sets and shows from across the wider Paramount family, such as Comedy Central and MTV, whilst also hosting programs from other content partners, adding more reality, drama, factual, true crime and films to the platform. Interesting how it's going to offer more of the Paramount family, you know, stuff on Comedy Central and MTV. Now, as someone admittedly who doesn't watch a lot of these channels anyway, could anyone tell me what big shows on Comedy Central or MTV would people be clamoring to My5 to catch up on? I think, you know, I haven't watched Comedy Central since the days of South Park. And yes, I know South Park is very much still going, but you get what I mean. It's been a very long time since I've seriously checked out these channels. But, you know, know, they must have audiences, and I think the fact it's going to be available on My5 on a very accessible platform is going to be really good. It doesn't say there whether they're going to hide it behind the paywall, though, the premium paywall, or if it's going to be sort of freely accessible. Paramount has also announced a broad kids and family offer for Milkshake, which is Channel 5's preschool strand, and Nickelodeon. Also promised a range of streaming-only channels, similar to the extra live TV channels available on ITVX. The streaming-only channels, I do understand that is very much the way a lot of these streaming sites are going. It's a very modern thing for them to have, so that makes sense. The broad kids and family offer is good too. You know, in an age where kids TV, you could argue, is slowly dying out in the traditional sense, having a very broad offering on your streaming site is a good way to try and get them in. Milkshake as a brand is quite well up there. There's a lot of people who remember it from back in the day who grew up with it. There are still a lot of kids who enjoy it now. And Nickelodeon, I mean, as a kids brand, one of the powerhouses alongside like Cartoon Network, for example. And you could say, you know, are the shows as good as they used to be? I mean, that's a whole debate going off there. But the fact you've got these two big kids offshoots with Milkshake and Nickelodeon that again is going to be hosted onto My5, or sorry, I should just say 5, the new streaming element of 5 that's coming in March, I think that can only be a good thing. The 5 streaming service will also boast an upgraded user experience, with advertisers can look forward to enhanced data-led advertising opportunities. Oh boy, God knows what that's going to hold. They haven't yet named the exact date in March when the change will take place. I'm sure we'll get that in time. We do have a corporate comment. This is from the Chief Content Officer of Channel 5, that being Ben Froh, who said, 2024 was a huge year for My5, as our viewers really discovered the depth of content, particularly our Channel 5 dramas, that we have on the service. We know that audiences increasingly want to switch seamlessly between streaming and linear TV, and that's why in March we're relaunching both our services under the combined brand of 5 with a significantly greater range of programming on offer. Very exciting stuff there. So I want to touch on the dramas for a sec, because I think it is good that Channel 5's dramas are doing quite well. Dramas, you know, as a genre is something that has often been said, oh, well, the BBC sort of have the monopoly on that, or ITV do good dramas as well. So I am glad that Channel 5 is getting their dramas out there, and that's been acknowledged by the Chief Content Officer as well. Again, this combined brand of 5. I mean, for us here on this channel, we do like new looks, new brands. Are we going to get new idents, shall we say? I mean, these existing ones for Channel 5 have been in place for quite a while. This look, if you like, has been in place since, was it 2016? It's been nearly a decade now. So a whole complete rebrand, revamp, relook, whatever you want to call it, is definitely due. And I'm really interested to see what style they're going to go with, because when you look at Channel 5's history, you know, when it launched in 1997, the main logo of the idents was the 5 numeral, and then it, of course, changed. You know, it changed to the spelling out of the word 5. That lasted for a while.
This
before
is
we
really
got to
difficult.
the 2010s, and we went back
being
to the
criminalised for
numeral.
not paying your license fee.
For Channel 5 as a
I
brand, I do think the numeral works really well. So if we do have this big rebrand, this big change,
like
I
the early
honestly
days
don't
of when
think
this was
we're
set
going
up
to
back
have
in the 1940s
the wording
and
back. I
50s.
don't think, you know,
But,
the 2000s aren't
these
coming back in
days,
that
be
sense. We're not going to get it
prosecuted for
spelled out. I really
again,
think
this
we're
is
going
the
to keep
difficult
with
thing.
numeral.
If the license
As
fees
to its
retained,
design,
and
I mean,
there's
you
no
could go with the
criminal
whole,
or
you know,
any
maybe
sort
it'll
of
have
major
5
punishment,
colours
maybe
or 5
outside of a small
pieces
fine,
to
it
it, similar
could
to
become a
what we have
voluntary
now.
payment. So
You know, I
you
think
can
there's
just watch
really
TV,
scope though to
and
make
if
a
you
big
want
impact
to,
with
you
it.
can pay
And of course, because
£170
they're
a year.
unifying the entire
Gee, I
brand,
wonder
you
what
know,
the
not just
majority of
the
people are going to
linear
do
TV
there.
Channel 5,
That's
they're
not
uniting
despite
the
people. You know,
streaming
I
site
think
of
most of us,
My5
even
as well.
myself, if you
This is
said,
a
well,
really
you know, you
golden
can enjoy all these
opportunity
benefits. You
to
don't
really
have to
create a
cough up
look and, you know,
170.
idents
Then
to go with
you know,
it.
I probably
really
wouldn't
striking
either. But then if
packages
the
that could
majority
really make
decides
this
not to do
impact
that,
with
then that's
audiences
going
that could really
to
make it
slash the
stand out in
BBC's money
people's
even more.
eyes and minds. If they don't do that, let's put it this way, I really doubt they're going to stick with what they've got now. If they did, I think that would be a very foolish move. I think nearly a decade on from this look, and with this big rebrand covering everything, this is the time to change it, and I really hope that they do. Channel 5, of course, a bit of history for you, launched as the 5th terrestrial network on the 30th of March, 1997. That's right. And it was even controversial getting it going, you know, to begin with. People complaining that they weren't getting, you know, a proper signal, fuzzy picture and all of that. They also launched with the Spice Girls. I mean, you know, they were the biggest girl group on the planet at the time. So you can't argue with that star power backing you. But I think with all the initial promise that Channel 5, you know, came out with, all the bluster, all the gusto, Could you argue in like the first few years of its life, did it meet that? You could argue not. Some would even argue that all that bluster they promoted faded pretty quickly within, 6 months to a year. And over the last 25 years, it has, sort of stayed in its own lane. It's produced various programs that the other broadcasters don't want. And in some niches, it does really well. I've already praised it during Christmas time, how rather than, seriously compete with the big boys up there, they have these really fun, like, countdown-based shows, like favorite Christmas songs or the country's favorite 80s songs, which some people might say is like derivative content and stuff like that. But I think around Christmas time, especially if you want something in the background, then those sort of shows are perfect. And again, in recent years, as mentioned here, the dramas on Channel 5 have been getting a lot better, at least critically from reviews, and it's not just acquired stuff. This is stuff that is being homegrown on the channel as well. So in terms of the rebrand generally, I hope they knock this out of the park, not just in terms of the look, the aesthetics of it, like new idents, new sequences, new logos, which hopefully will come. It's not confirmed, but I'd like to think they will come. But in terms of how this comes across to audiences, is this big revamp going to really communicate that everything is under one roof? That seamless switch from linear TV to streaming that Ben Fro talked about, is that going to be achieved? I think with the right rebrand, and if they continue down the programming strand that they've got going on right now, absolutely. And Channel 5 could easily find its place in this increasingly changing world of UK television. I don't think it has to die away, as a lot of people are sort of doomsaying about a lot of channels that they're going to be dead within 10 years. I don't think that has to be the case with Channel 5, but I think a lot of that factor is seriously going to hinge on this rebrand. But that is all for this video. Thank you very much for watching. If you enjoyed it, please remember to leave a like on the video because it really does help us out. And subscribe to the channel as well because we'd love to have you aboard here with us. Let me know your thoughts on the Big 5 rebrand in the comments. Do you think it's going to go well? What sort of things are you expecting? Let me know all that in the comments down below. In the meantime, I've been Adam Martyn from AMTV. Thank you for joining me, and I'll see you next time.
Classic cult drama now as we head south of the equator for another exciting story from prisoner cell block H.
Now on 5, a look at today's top news stories with Rob Butler.
Now on 5, Michaela Strachan meets a cheese-loving raccoon who somehow got his head stuck in a jar. Bring on the Animal Rescue Squad.
Hollywood glitterati come under the microscope now on Channel 5. But who is lending a helping hand? With flashing images, it's CSI.
Thank you to our patrons for helping to support the show, and a special thank you to Macra, Sean Knock, Dord Khan, Liam Domain, AJ Mac 200017, Deck, Jen, Traffy, Evan Hart 41, Tim Ripley, Mr. Eurovision 1986, Marnanel Thurman, John Wakefield, Kieran Bolton, 40-something Manchild, Jerry Ralph, John McLeod, Saint Rocket 9, James Wallace, Ben, Kat Hegarty, Stephen Oliver, Tegan, and Shadow Fiend 180X, are AMTV staff members.